What if I told you the safest place you could put your money is actually the one place it's guaranteed to disappear? I'm not talking about some crazy stock market crash or a sketchy crypto investment. I'm talking about your savings account. You know, that account you've been diligently adding to, the one you think of as your financial safety net? Yeah, that one. It's a ticking time bomb. And in 2025, it's primed to go off. I used to think my savings account was the foundation of my financial life. Every month, like clockwork, a chunk of my paycheck went right into it. I'd watch the balance tick up and feel that sense of pride, of security. I was doing the responsible thing, right? Building a cushion for emergencies, saving for big goals. I felt smart. I felt safe. But one day I decided to do the real math, not just the simple math of adding up deposits and interest, but the kind of math that includes the invisible force that's constantly eating away at our money. And what I found was shocking. My hard work, my discipline, it was basically for nothing. In fact, I was actively losing hundreds, even thousands of dollars in real world buying power every single year. My safety net didn't just have holes in it, it was a sieve. That's when I realized the quiet truth about what really happens to our money when it just sits in the bank. It's a truth the banks hope you never figure out, and one the government is quietly admitting with its own actions. Your savings account isn't just doing a bad job, it's becoming worthless. And the economic shifts happening in 2025 are throwing gasoline on that fire. Let's be real. The idea of a savings account is baked into us from childhood. From our very first piggy bank, we're taught to save for a rainy day. It's the advice our parents and grandparents gave us. Put your money in a bank where it's safe and let it grow. For a long, long time, that was solid advice. A savings account was a simple deal. You lend the bank your money, and they pay you a small but fair bit of interest for the privilege. It was a place where your money could rest, protected, and productive. But that deal is broken. The contract has changed, and most of us haven't even noticed. The heart of the problem is a simple, brutal equation. The inflation rate minus your savings account's interest rate equals how quickly you're getting poorer. Let me say that again. The rate of inflation minus your APY is the real return on your money. And for almost anyone with a traditional savings account, that number is deep in the red. Think of your money as an ice cube sitting on the counter. Your interest rate is like a tiny, weak fan blowing cool air on it. But inflation is the temperature of the room. If the room is warm, that ice cube is going to melt, no matter what the tiny fan does. That's exactly what's happening to your purchasing power. Your money is a melting ice cube. Let's look at the hard numbers for 2025. As of October, the annual inflation rate for the United States for the 12 months ending in September 2025 was 3.0%. Now let's look at savings rates. Some of the biggest, most well known banks in the country are paying as low as 0.01% APY. No, that is not a typo. It's practically zero. So let's do that math. 3.0% inflation minus a 0.01% interest rate means your money lost 2.99% of its value this year. Let's make that even more real. Imagine you have $10,000 saved up for an emergency. You did the responsible thing. You put it in a standard savings account at a big bank, earning that measly 0.01%. After 1 year, you'll have earned a laughable $1 in interest. But during that same year, because of 3.0% inflation, the stuff you could buy with that money now costs $10,300. You earned a dollar, but you lost $300 in real world value. Your safe money isn't safe at all. It's evaporating. Over 5 years, that's over $1,500 in purchasing power just gone. It vanished into thin air while your account statement still cheerfully tells you that you have $10,001. It's a financial illusion. Now, you might be thinking, but I don't use a traditional savings account. I'm smarter than that. I use a high yield savings account, an HYSA. And for a while, that was a much better answer. During 2023 and 2024, as the Federal Reserve was jacking up interest rates to fight inflation, these online banks got into a rate war, offering APYs of 4%, 5%, and even higher. It was a great time to be a saver. You could finally earn a return that was close to, or sometimes even beat, inflation. Your ice cube wasn't getting bigger, but at least it wasn't melting so fast. But here's the critical shift happening right now. In 2025, that little golden era is over. Those high yield savings account rates are starting to fall, and they're expected to keep dropping. Why? Because the same force that pushed them up is now dragging them back down. If this problem has been simmering for years, why is 2025 the year the alarm bells are screaming? Because we're at a perfect storm of economic forces that are turning a slow leak into a waterfall. The ground is shifting under our feet, and the old rules about safe money just don't apply anymore. The first and most important factor is the Federal Reserve. You have to understand this. Banks don't just pull interest rates out of thin air. The rates they offer you are directly tied to the federal funds rate, which is the master dial for borrowing costs across the entire economy, and it's controlled by the Fed. When the Fed raises rates, banks want your cash more, so they compete for it by offering you higher savings rates. That was 2023. But now, in 2025, the opposite is happening. The Fed has pivoted. Citing a weaker job market and worries about the economy slowing down, they began cutting rates. There was a cut in September and another 0.25 percentage point cut at the end of October 2025, bringing the target range down to 3.75% to 4%. Every time the Fed cuts rates, the ceiling for high yield savings accounts gets lower. The 5% APYs we saw are pretty much gone. Many top accounts are now in the 4.2% to 4.5% range. And as the Fed signals more cuts could be on the way, that trend is only going to continue. That gap between inflation and your savings rate, the gap where your wealth disappears, is opening back up. Even the good savings accounts are struggling to keep your head above water. You played the game right, you moved your money to an HYSA, and now the rules are changing mid game. The second problem is that the silent thief of inflation is proving to be a guest that just won't leave. We were told it was transitory. It wasn't. We were told the Fed's rate hikes would kill it. They helped, but it's not dead. As of the latest data from September 2025, inflation is still chugging along at 3.0% annually. While that's way better than the 9% we saw at its peak, it's still well above the Fed's 2% target. An inflation rate of 3% doesn't sound like a big deal, but you have to feel what that means. It is a guaranteed 3% tax on every dollar you own that isn't growing. It's a wealth destroying machine that runs 24/7. Let's go back to that $10,000 emergency fund, but this time you have it in a great HISA earning 4.2% APY, a solid rate for October 2025. After a year, you'll earn $420 in interest. Nice. But hang on, inflation was 3.0%. That means the real purchasing power of your money shrank by $300. So your net gain for the whole year is just $120. $120 on $10,000. That's a real return of just 1.2%. And that's with a good account. If rates dip to 3.5% and inflation stays at 3.0%, your real return gets cut in half. If rates fall below inflation, you're officially losing money again, even in the best savings accounts out there. This brings us to the third point. The banks themselves. Let's be crystal clear about something. Banks are not your friends. They are businesses. Their business is to use your money to make more money for themselves. When you deposit $10,000, they don't let it sit there. They lend it out as mortgages, car loans, and business loans at much higher rates, say 7% or 8%. They pocket the difference between what they earn on those loans and the tiny slice they pay you. In 2025, something interesting is happening. US savers are showing what the industry calls consumer inertia. We're tired of chasing rates. We're less likely to move our money around. This gives banks a huge advantage. They know you're probably not going to leave, so why bother offering you a great rate? They can quietly lower your APY knowing most people won't notice or won't bother to act. So while your HYSA rate is falling, their profits from your money stay fat and happy. You're taking all the inflation risk while they get most of the reward. The fourth and final point is the most unsettling: the illusion of safety. We're told our money is safe because of three letters FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. This government agency insures your deposits up to $250,000. And to be clear, this insurance is real. If your bank fails, the FDIC will give you your money back up to the limit. But the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank in 2023 pulled back the curtain on this system. The panic around SVB was terrifying not because the FDIC didn't work, but because of what it revealed about the system's weaknesses. When SVB was about to fail, depositors tried to pull out $42 billion in a single day. The bank didn't have it and collapsed. The FDIC then did something incredible. They used a systemic risk exception to cover all deposits, even those over the $250,000 limit, to stop the panic from spreading to other banks and causing a full-blown crisis. They basically broke their own rules to save the system. This brings up some uncomfortable questions. What if it wasn't just one or two banks? The FDIC's entire insurance fund was around $145.3 billion as of mid 2025. That sounds like a lot, but it's a tiny fraction of the trillions held in US banks. Covering all the uninsured money at SVB was a choice. There's no guarantee it would happen again in a bigger crisis. For most of us, the real risk isn't that the FDIC will fail, it's a risk of access. In a crisis, your money could be temporarily frozen while the FDIC sorts things out. For a family that needs to pay the mortgage or a business that needs to make payroll, even a week without cash can be a disaster. SVB proved that a bank run today doesn't involve lines around the block. It happens at the speed of light with billions vanishing in hours. So here's the full picture for 2025. Interest rates on even the best savings accounts are falling. Stubborn inflation is eating your money from the other side. Banks are using your laziness to keep more of the profits. And the FDIC safety net, while strong, isn't the instant, frictionless guarantee we imagine it to be in a true crisis. Your savings account is being attacked from every angle. It's failing at its one job, to be a safe place for your money. If this is starting to make you a little nervous, good. It should. This is the reality most people are completely ignoring. That feeling of security you get from a big savings balance is a dangerous illusion in today's economy. And before I show you exactly what to do about it, the practical step by step plan to protect your cash and actually make it grow, do me a quick favor. If you're getting any value out of this, please take a second and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. My whole mission here is to pull back the curtain on how money really works and give you the tools you need to build and protect your wealth. Subscribing is free and it makes sure you don't miss out. Okay, ready to see the solution? Let's do it. All right, we've established that your savings account is a sinking ship, but pointing out the problem is useless without a clear, actionable solution. So let's get into exactly what to do. This isn't about giving up on saving, it's about saving smarter. It's about building a fortress for your cash that can not only survive 2025, but actually come out stronger. The main idea is this: stop thinking of savings as one account. Start thinking of it as a layered system where each layer does a different job and gives you a different mix of easy access, safety, and growth. Solution Part 1: Redefining your emergency fund. First, let's deal with the emergency fund. The old advice of having 3 to 6 months of living expenses is still solid. That doesn't change. What has to change is where you keep it. Putting it all in one savings account is the old way. Instead, we're going to build it in tiers. Tier 1: the Right Now Fund. This is for true immediate emergencies. The car dies on the highway, the water heater explodes. You need cash now. For this, keep about 1 month's worth of expenses in a checking account or a linked savings account at your main bank. Yes, the interest rate will be awful. That's not the point. The point is instant, no hassle access. This is your fire extinguisher money. Tier 2: the High Yield Core. This is where the rest of your 3 to 6 month emergency fund should live, in a high yield savings account, HYSA, at an online only bank. I know we just talked about their rates dropping. It's true, but even a falling HYSA rate is a million times better than a traditional one. As of late 2025, you can still find reputable FDIC insured online banks offering rates between 4.2% and 4.5% APY. This tier gives you the best of both worlds. The money is still easy to get. You can usually transfer it to your checking account in 1 to 3 days. And while it might only be earning a 1.2% real return after inflation, that's way better than a negative 3% return. The key is to stay on top of it. Once a quarter, spend 15 minutes on a site like Bankrate or NerdWallet to see if your HYSA is still competitive. If another good FDIC insured bank is offering a better rate, move your money. Loyalty to a bank that isn't paying you is a terrible strategy. Solution Part 2: Beyond Emergencies, the Safe Money. Powerhouses. Once your emergency fund is set, we need to deal with any other cash you have. Money for a down payment in a year or two, cash you're waiting to invest, or just extra savings. Leaving this in a savings account is financial malpractice in 2025. This is where we bring out the big guns that are both safe and offer much better returns. Alternative number 1: certificates of deposit, CDs. A CD is like making a deal with a bank. You agree to lock your money up for a set amount of time, anywhere from 3 months to 5 years. In exchange for you not touching it, the bank gives you a fixed interest rate that's usually higher than a savings account. And that rate is guaranteed for the whole term. This is a huge win when rates are falling. While your friend's HYSA rate gets cut, your CD rate is locked in. As of October 2025, you can find 1 year CDs paying up to 4.10% APY. This is a fantastic way to lock in a solid return on money you know you won't need for a specific time. The only catch is there's a penalty if you pull it out early. A great strategy here is CD laddering. Instead of one big 5 year CD, you break it up. Put some in a 1 year CD, some in a 2 year, some in a 3 year, and so on. As each rung of the ladder matures, you can either spend the cash or reinvest it. It gives you high locked in rates and regular access to your money. Alternative number two, US Treasury bills, T bills. This right here is one of the best and most overlooked tools for your safe money. When you buy a T bill, you're lending money directly to the US government. They're considered one of the safest investments on earth because they're backed by the full faith and credit of the United States. If the US government can't pay you back, we've all got much bigger problems. T bills are sold for short terms, like 4, 13, or 26 weeks. You buy them for less than their face value, and when they mature, you get the full amount back. The difference is your interest. In late October 2025, a 3 month T bill is yielding around 3.73% to 3.88%. But here's the secret weapon: the interest you earn is exempt from state and local taxes. This is a massive advantage over savings accounts and CDs. If you live in a high tax state like California or New York, a 3.8% tax free yield from a T bill could be the same as getting a 4.5% or even 5% taxable yield from a savings account. You can buy them right from the government on the Treasury Direct website with no fees. For your safest money, T bills are tough to beat in 2025. Alternative number three, money market funds, MMFs. These often get confused with savings accounts, but they're different. A money market account at a bank is FDIC insured. A money market fund, on the other hand, is a type of mutual fund you buy through a brokerage like Fidelity or Vanguard. These funds invest in high quality short term debt, a lot like T bills. The critical difference is that money market funds are not FDIC insured. While they are considered extremely low risk, the risk is not zero. So why use them? Because their yields often track higher than HYSAS. In late 2025, many MMFs are yielding in the 4% range, making them a great place to park cash inside your brokerage account while you decide where to invest it. Alternative number four, Series 1 savings bonds, I bonds. I bonds were the star of the show when inflation was skyrocketing. Their interest rate has two parts: a fixed rate and a variable rate that's tied to inflation and resets every 6 months. For bonds bought between May and October 2025, the total rate is 3.98%. The beauty of I bonds is that they're a direct shield against inflation. If inflation goes up, so does your rate. The downsides: you can only buy $10,000 per person each year, and you can't touch the money at all for the first year. If you cash out between years 1 and 5, you lose the last 3 months of interest. So they're best for longer term savings, but they are literally designed to do the job of protecting your purchasing power. Solution. Part 3, a practical blueprint. So, how do you put this all together? Let's take someone who has saved up $50,000 as their safe money. The old way: put $50,000 in a savings account earning 0.5%. After 1 year, with 3% inflation, you have lost about $1,250 in purchasing power. The new 2025 way: Tier 1, $5,000 in a checking/linked savings account for instant access. Yield basically 0%. Tier 2, $15,000 in a top tier HISA earning 4.2%. This is the core emergency fund. Yield $630. The safe money powerhouses: $10,000 in a 1 year CD, locking in a 4.1% rate. Yield $410. $10,000 in a ladder of T bills, earning an average of 3.8%, and it's state tax free. Yield $380 plus tax savings. $10,000 in a Series 1 bond, protecting against inflation and earning a 3.98% rate for now. Yield approximately $398. With this new setup, your total return on the $50,000 is about 3.6%. Instead of losing $1,250 to inflation, you've basically kept pace with it, and maybe even gotten slightly ahead. Your money is still safe, with almost all of it in government-backed or FDIC insured places. But now it's also working for you. It's resilient. It's smart. This is how you turn a melting ice cube into a financial fortress. So, is your savings account about to disappear? No, not literally. The account will still be there, but its purpose, its value, its whole reason for existing as a safe place for your wealth, that is absolutely vanishing before our eyes. For decades, we were taught a simple script: work hard, spend less than you earn, and save the rest in the bank. We followed the rules, we played it safe. But the game has changed. Following that old script in 2025 is a guaranteed way to fall behind. It's a recipe for watching your hard-earned money slowly dissolve into nothing. The 1 2 punch of falling interest rates and stubborn inflation is brutal for anyone just letting their money sit. It creates a toxic environment where safety is an illusion and doing nothing is one of the most expensive decisions you can make. The banks aren't going to help you, they're benefiting from this. Relying on them to protect your future is like asking a fox to guard the henhouse. But this isn't a message of doom and gloom. It's a wake up call. It's a call to take back control. You have the power to opt out of this broken system. The solution isn't to take on crazy risks. The solution is to get smarter. It's to understand the tools you have and use them with a strategy. By layering your savings into tiers, using HISAs for quick access, and adding in the superior protected returns of CDs, T bills, and I bonds, you can build a new kind of safety net, one that's tough, smart, and actively defends your money against the silent thief of inflation. Stop letting your money sleep in an account where it's being robbed day after day. The financial world of 2025 rewards action and punishes sitting on the sidelines. It's time to put your money to work, even your safe money. It's time to move it from a place where it's disappearing to a place where it is defended and preserved. Your financial future depends on it. Final CTA. If this breakdown gave you a new way to think about your savings, please do 3 quick things for me. Hit the like button to show your support, subscribe to the channel for more deep dives that put you in control of your money, and most importantly, share this video with one person you know, a friend or family member, who is still keeping all their cash in a regular savings account. You could literally be saving them thousands of dollars. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.